With direct mail, you can hit every home in a targeted neighborhood. Let's talk about that. The fact that we talked about some of the most important principles is very key here. I don't have to cover them. Do you understand the value of learning marketing in your real estate business? Okay, most investors do not get that. It's the key to any business. So the fact that you're here learning marketing, then over the next few days you'll figure out what to do with it, right? Then you'll learn how to use marketing. Ron will cover it and Chris will cover how to use marketing to sell houses. The key, what I specialize is teaching business systems and marketing systems to real estate investors. I am actually a copywriter, and some of the biggest names in the real estate business hire me to write copy for them. Dick Dessage with Middle House Securities, Bill Bronchek, Jeff Collar, Ron LeGrand. They hire me to work on their marketing. Okay, I'm not looking for clients. Okay, because I'm plenty busy. But what I do is I create marketing for individual real estate investors, and then I license it out or get it out through my courses or my newsletter or whatever. So this is what I use everything that I teach, and so I get the value of using it myself. Now, using the ultimate direct mail system for buying houses, you can dominate your farm area by remailing over and over to the same areas and enjoying the advantage of becoming a big fish in a small pond. Okay? That is key for my business. I was able to do that with a low-cost community newspaper. And when I wanted to do marketing down in Colorado Springs, we did not have that same low-cost community newspaper. So I couldn't run my large display ad, my best message, in a newspaper down in Colorado Springs to expand my business. So I tried the traditional postcard system. That worked. Recently, what I found is the oversized saturation method to allow me to expand anywhere I want and be a big fish in a small pond. So we have about 500,000 people in Colorado Springs. I don't want my marketing message going out to 500,000 people. Let me ask you this. Would you rather send one marketing message that you've proven that works, one time to 50,000 people, or would you rather send the same message 10 times to 5,000 people? 10 times, absolutely. Because not everybody's going to be in a position to sell their house. And guess what happens when they see it 3 or 4 times? The next time they see it, you got instant credibility. So, you become the first option to explore when they decide to sell. When you're farming an area and you create a presence, these are the advantages. You can hit the best parts of town you want to dominate. You get to select those. You can put your lead generation on automatic pilot. Once you put this together, it's very easy. What I'm going to talk about here is picking 15 to 20,000 homes. That's it. My county has about 13,000 homes. And for many years I've bought 2 to 3 homes in that county from just that 13,000 homes. 2 or 3 a month. 2 or 3 a month out of 13,000. You can stay busy with 15 to 20,000 homes once you identify the best areas to mail to. You create a presence and a relationship with your market. Ron says, whack them. He says, if they're not motivated, whack them. Okay? All right. You know why he says that? Because he's not going to follow up. And either are you. I talk to hundreds of investors every month, and there's very few people that have a good system for following up on the leads they already spent money for. It's just human nature. I'm guilty. Okay? I am guilty. And can you imagine? I created a follow-up letter, which I actually recently mailed out. It has a little stress card. It says, if you're stressed out about selling your house, call me. All right? And I put it in an envelope, and I made it look like, when you get the credit cards in the mail, and it's a credit card because it's just got the return address, it's a window envelope, and you can feel the card. That was the follow-up system that I created to follow up on leads. Do you think that would get attention? It's the first thing they open. They think they got a credit card in the mail. This says address, correction request, and all that. So I know how to follow up, but that's a lot of work. What happens if you keep marketing, whether it's postcards or signs or flyers or ads or whatever, but you keep going back to the same small farm area? It's an automatic follow-up system. So what happens is they call, and they want a retail price. They say, look, I can't help you. I can't give you a retail price. In fact, you'd have to pay me $5,000 if I bought your house. Okay? So I'm not your solution because they owe too much. But then they see your message 3 or 4 times or 3 or 4 months later, and the other things haven't worked out. Guess what? They call up and say, can I still have you buy my house if I paid you $5,000? Okay? So they're unmotivated, but over time they become motivated. Follow-up is key, but we just don't do it. So if you keep going back to the same areas over and over, cost effectively, you get an automatic follow-up system. My large display ad in the weekly paper was an automatic follow-up system. So I just run it like 10 times a year in a weekly, 10 times a year. If you get a 3-page sales letter or a 3-page marketing message or in a large advertorial like this, you should be ready to talk to them. It's not a 2-step approach where they're calling on a sign or a classified ad and you want to get them warmed up and tell them about the benefits. What you want to do is you want to have them already read all the benefits that they can get from doing business with you before you call. So you're going to be higher quality prospects. So then you'll buy more from fewer leads. Ron was saying, they're buying like 1 out of 3. I mean, that's incredible. But it really depends on where it's coming from. I buy typically because my marketing is designed to get any type of seller calling me. I'm willing to pre-screen them after that. So I'm willing to have 10 or 15 people call me to do a deal. And I typically have 10 or 15 people call me a week. Now, with this oversized postcard, I'm buying 1 out of 7, 1 out of 8. So it's actually better. So you buy with fewer leads. Qualify for the lowest postage rates. How much does it cost? Well, you actually have an article in your workbook on this, so I hope you didn't read ahead. But I'll tell you where it's at, just so you can refer to it later. Maybe you can write some notes on there now, but really refer to it later. So yeah, we're on page 129. I actually wrote a step-by-step article for you, okay, on page 129. But the key is you can get the lowest postage rates using this system, and what we're typically paying right now is 15.2 cents. So 15.2 cents. It's called standard mail. It's not first class mail. It's called standard mail. When you're doing the normal postcard system, you want first class mail. You want the returns. When you're buying a good targeted list, you want the returns. If you're using Kathy's letter system, you want the returns because you want to clean up that list. With this system, you get the lowest postage rates, but it has 100% deliverability to the houses. You don't have to get the returns. All you do is it's like hiring the postman. It's the legal way to get the postman to distribute your flyer to every house on his carrier route. Okay, it's the legal way to do it, but they charge you. It's 15.2 cents. But you do know that you can't put flyers in people's mailboxes? Okay, it's illegal. This is the legal way to do it. You can crank it up and slow it down when you want. So if you're going on vacation, you don't mail. Okay? Most of your response, once the phone starts ringing, half of your response will be in the first week, and then another quarter over the next following week. And then it'll trickle out. In fact, when you keep going back to the same markets over and over and over, it's good to use like ads and stuff like that and signs, but they don't lay around. These lay around. In fact, on the card, if you look on the side with the postage permit and where you'd put the address, it says not ready. It's in a handwritten note. Have you ever heard about that idea? It says, not ready? Save this card with your important house paperwork for future reference or pass on to a friend. So I just added that to get additional mileage because it is a very shotgun approach. Okay, so you can crank it up. So don't mail when you're going on vacation. And then what do? You can focus your time on talking to sellers, pre-screening deals, making offers, and getting your houses occupied. Isn't that the best use of your time once you have your marketing systems working on automatic pilot? Here's some more benefits. And I'm selling you on the idea of this. I'm selling you on the idea because I want you to do it. I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it, lay it out step by step. And then if you feel you're not going to do it or you don't want to do it, I'll do it for you. That's what Ron was telling you. I've spent about a year and a half putting this all together. I do it myself. The first time I mailed out 10,000 postcards, I bought 5 houses on 10,000 postcards. I made $146,000 in 6 weeks. And within the following 6 weeks, I converted half of that to cash. That was on my test. That was a one-shot deal. It wasn't the sequential hit, which is very important in other types of marketing. It was one shot. We were able to do that because we kept all of our costs down as low as possible. And so, you can avoid testing and setting up different ways. Aren't we learning about a number of different ways to market ourselves and find deals today? A lot of different ways. I think you're going to have, like Ron said, you have to pick 2 or 3. Because you have to set it up, you have to test it, you have to refine it, and if it's not working, you take another tool and you keep going, and you find the best 2 or 3 to do your business. There's no need to call sellers. There's no need to compete with killer cash deals. Those are usually the cash deals that are listed with real estate agents. You have no competition. When people get direct mail, it's not like they're getting a bunch of direct mail from someone else unless it's like a foreclosure list. You could get rich just marketing to a foreclosure list, but why don't I market to a foreclosure list? Because I hate competition. And I don't like writing checks. Usually they're behind on their payments. I buy those houses all the time, but I don't want to focus that. Short sales are great. I did one a couple weeks ago, actually last week. I got them to short $27,000 down to $2,500. The bank took $2,500 for their second mortgage instead of $27,000. I created the equity in the property from a short sale. So you want that tool. You want that tool, but that's not where my focus is. My focus is on buying houses with little or no money, where I don't have to do that. You can flip excess deals to other investors. You can avoid competing with other ads or news in the newspaper or yellow pages. So Ron said I didn't have any competition in the yellow pages because I have a good ad. The truth is, I'm competing with real estate agents. I mean...
well, that shouldn't be hard.
I mean, no, it's not hard. And I don't see them as competitors, but they see me as a competitor. I'm like the biggest threat to them in my community. If you're good at marketing, either the people are going to know your business. They're going to know who you are.
There's a good point there. You guys are not out here to please real estate agents.
No, you're not.
In fact, if you're not pissing them off, you're not doing anything.
I have a guy who's...
That's true, guys.
I'll tell you exactly. I got a call last night. When I have a marketing course, and it comes with like a 45-minute consultation. I did that with someone last night from my hotel room. And he mailed out these postcards. He mailed out 5,000 postcards, and he was a real estate agent. And he got fired yesterday. Okay? He lost his license. 7 real estate agents complained about his marketing because it says, I'll buy your house, there's no commissions, you don't have to list. All right? And so he told me, and he said, man, I got 7 agents complained to my broker or got to it, and the broker called him in and said, you're either going to buy houses or you're going to do real estate. But you're not going to hang your license here if you're buying houses. He said, adios.
In other words, you can either make money working or work for free.
Now my marketing message is a refinement of something I got from Ron a long time ago. I've refined it over the years. I've made improvements and stuff. And there used to be some harsher language about real estate agents. I actually took that out when I got a lot of flack.
As you should. No reason to chastise them.
Yeah.
No reason to intentionally irritate them.
Yeah.
But there's no reason to suck up to them either.
True.
And I know we got a bunch of agents in here, and I won't even ask you to raise your hand.
Yeah. And what I'm talking about here, all you have to do is on this, I got 50 I'm mailing postcards for 50 people. I have a service. And there's a number of real estate agents. So I have a version that just says, I'm not writing you to I'm a licensed agent, but I'm not writing to list your house. I'm writing you to buy it. And that's we just added that one line to everything else.
While we're on that, in case we don't get back to it, can I just make a point that you guys are not going to go out and steal deals from realtors now?
No.
Please do not be under the impression that you can go behind realtors' backs, buy properties that are listed, and that you should do. That's not what you need to do. First of all, you don't need to mess with those dealers. More than you can handle out there. Secondly, they have a contract on this property, and you are tortiously interfering with that contract if you go buy that house knowing that it is listed. You know it's listed. You got two choices. The seller can either try to get it released, or you can wait till it expires, or somebody can pay the realtor. Those are your only options. Everybody clear on that? We do not go behind realtors' back and steal deals. They got there first. If they sell it, great. If they don't sell it, you can pick it up when they're through. And incidentally, if you contact the realtor and then you get involved with it after the listing is over, you're still obligated. Somebody's still obligated to pay the commission, usually for 4 months thereafter. So it's not your responsibility to go. If you contact that realtor can easily say, I solicited you as a buyer. Somebody owes me a commission. However, if you contact realtors for junkers, are you going to buy it anyway? And the seller is going to wind up paying the commission out of their cash price. Everybody clear on that?
Yeah, I just tell people if it's listed, I say I don't buy listed homes. When's your listing up? And I never.
Well, I actually go one step further. Do you think you can get the realtor to release the listing?
Yeah, I go into that too. And sometimes I'll put it under contract contingent on them getting out of their listing. But I'm not doing a deal unless it's unlisted. Yeah, it just basically says, I'm writing you today. If you look on your postcard under the third paragraph on the front page, this is actually a card that we customized for one of my mailing service clients, Mark Gerstenberg. It says, my name is Mark Gerstenberg. At the end of that paragraph, we just say, I'm not writing to you I'm a licensed real estate agent. I'm not writing you to list your home. I'm writing you to buy your home. Something like that. It's very simple. Now, when you farm an area, you become an expert in that area. Instead of becoming an expert of all of Jacksonville and all of the homes in your metro area, by focusing in on a part of town and even further down into certain neighborhoods, you become a property value expert. And that builds your confidence. You also know how quickly and easily it will be to get that house occupied because that's your area. Then when you've got a house for sale, you build a buyer's list. You have a house for sale, you have all these buyers, you sell it. Now you got all those people looking in that area and in that price range. It's very easy to build a buyer's list, and that'll help you on the sell side. You can form a dream team so that your contractors, your cleaning people, your hauling people, your landscapers, your title companies, they all work in that area, so you don't have to have people spread all over the place.
You're saying farming is what realtors refer to it. Farm your area, stick to your area, get good at that area, be the best at that area, build your buyers and your sellers from that area, and not try to cover it all.
That's what we're covering, the benefits of farming. And you can check on your houses, replenish flyers, meet with buyers, meet with the contractor, visit with some sellers, all on one trip. See, I travel 45 minutes to my new farm area where I'm mailing these postcards. And so if I go down there, it's nice to be able to handle a lot of things on one trip. And then, like I said, you create instant credibility. When the people see your marketing message, what do they think when they see it once? Might be a scam. Who's this guy? Is this for real? It sounds too good to be true. But when they see you over a period of time, numerous times, they may not be interested in selling their house, but are they going to read at least the headline on this postcard? At least the headline. Then it can go in the trash. Fine. I want them to see the headline. Okay? Because if they're interested in the headline, then they'll read further. And a lot of people have called me on my marketing, because I've been doing this for years, using the advertorial, but using it in the newspaper, is I saw your ad for years. I was wondering why anybody would call on that. And of course, they're calling me to sell their house because they just got a divorce or whatever. So,
Richard, in your opinion, what is the biggest hurdle we have to overcome in the minds of the people with houses for sale in our advertising? What are they thinking when they see our ads?
Too good to be true.
Too good to be true, or they're going to steal my house from me? Well,
if you say we buy houses cash, that's what they're worried about. There's two marketing messages. One is kind of for pretty houses or any type of house. Wait
a minute. You guys better wake up and listen to this now, because this is only you could not get this information from anyone else unless they have a very serious background in marketing. So if you're on drugs, smack yourself. If you see anybody snoring, wake them up here right now. Because I get these questions all the time. How do I target a different type of seller? How do I change my marketing message to change my kind of sellers who's calling in here? So listen to what he's about to tell you, because he's absolutely right on.
There are there's two markets. There's the pretty house business and there's the ugly house business. There's the houses that you're going to buy all cash, rehab, and fix up, or just flip as is. And then there's the houses that you're going to buy, take over existing loans, buy them subject to, buy them with owner financing, turn them over, and sell with owner financing, typically. All right. The junker business, the ugly house business, we buy houses cash, works real good. It works. Ron got started with that message, but he also got started with ugly houses.
That's right.
Okay.
Absolutely right.
Over the years, he's gravitated towards a much easier approach, which is a pretty house business. And with the pretty house business, when you say something like, sell your house as is at a fair price on the date of your choice, or sell your house in 9 days or less at no cost to you, that's more of a general, they're wondering, how do you do that? So I usually follow that up with, we buy houses. So
the point is, what you advertise, or what you say in your advertising, is almost as important as who you advertise to. In other words, buy houses cash is going to bring in junkers. Buy executive homes or buy houses at a fair price, or any message like that that doesn't indicate that you got to come in and steal a house, is going to bring in a different kind of clientele. However, the good news, stop foreclosure will bring them all in.
Right.
Or bring them all in. Pretty ugly whole works.
So if isn't that what you think when you see a sign like this? We buy houses that the investor has to get you to take a discount in order to make it work for the investor. They don't know any different. But I buy houses at 85, 90 cents on the dollar. That's a fair price. I mean, that's top dollar in my mind. You got to knock off 10% for like marketing. If someone's going to sell a house, they're going to be lucky to net 90%.
All right, we better qualify that one now. He buys houses at 85 cents on the dollar only because they come with debt he can take over without money. Very good debt, very good term. And they're in excellent shape when he buys them.
Exactly.
That won't apply to anything we're going to discuss tomorrow.
Right.
If you buy a house tomorrow, like in the ugly house business, for 85 cents on the dollar, I'm personally going to spank you.
Yeah, no, it only applies to pretty houses. You're taking over existing debt, and typically if they have any equity that I'm going to give them, they're going to get it later, no payments, no interest. Okay, unless they have tons of equity and we might work something out. Okay, but that's my typical deal is no money down, give them debt relief, have them get a note later for get some money later when I sell the house if they have equity. One of my consulting clients also signed up for my postcard service. The first time she mailed it in Parker, Colorado, she got 25 calls in 30 days on her first mailing. So we mailed out 5,000 cards. She's a brand new investor. She's brand new. We threw her in the fire. But she's got my consulting, so she called me with the deals. But that's a real good response. But
baptism by fire, huh?
Typically, we're looking for, if you mail out 5,000 cards, we're looking to get 10 to 20 calls and buy one or two houses. If you buy a house, if you spend $1,500 mailing out some postcards, and you buy a house, does the numbers work? Yes. If you buy half a house, do the numbers work? Now, the question is, on this system, I'm typically, like I bought, the first time I did it, I got 5 houses. I spent $3,000 mailing 10,000 cards, bought 5 houses. Made $146,000. But the $3,000, what does that cost per house? That's $600 per house. We talked about the $500 in marketing to buy a house, and that we applied that to the classified ads. Spend $500 before you can really determine if it's working or not. If you're not getting any calls, that's one thing. But if you're getting calls and you're not buying a house, then you might be able to spend your money better. I'm actually spending more money per house with postcards for all of those benefits that we talked about. Because once it's set up, it's a system. It's easy to repeat. I'm talking to half the people. I'm buying twice as many houses, talking to the same number of people. So it's less work on my part. And to me, right now, I'd rather write a check than to spend more time. And that's, I think, you can't get your time back. Okay, you can get more money, but you can't get your time back. And that's what's most important to me to these days. So here's another person who just mailed. He mailed 3,000 cards. He got $68,500 from 3,000 cards.
I'd have to run that through the system to see if the return on investment would work. Send that over my accountant for an analysis.
I got to tell you, just real quickly, I went to a Dan Kennedy event. Dan Kennedy is one of my marketing mentors. He's one of Ron's marketing mentors.
He is my
Anybody who's ever heard of Dan Kennedy? Okay, I learned from many marketing guys, gurus, before I got into real estate. That's how I got my marketing background. I've never been to college. I've learned from books, tapes, and seminars. Okay, and everything that I do, personal growth, real estate, everything. So I went to this seminar, and I learned a killer strategy to get testimonials. And right now I'm writing a free special report. And Ron doesn't know. A lot of my stuff Ron doesn't get. We should probably stay in touch more often. Every time we meet, I show him my newest stuff, and he flips out a little bit. So I got the ultimate system for getting testimonials. All right. Is it important to have testimonials in your marketing? Would it help? Would it overcome that? Oh, and we got off the subject. The credibility issue. When you say we buy houses cash, and then you have all this evidence that people are happy with you, that helps. Now, we buy houses cash is good for the lower end, and then some of the messaging we're talking about here is better for the higher end. But both ways, if you can add testimonials, it's going to just help. But how do you get them, especially if you're new? Well, you see on the back of this card, there's a lot of white space, isn't there? I mean, there's quickly, this does not have to meet machining requirements. It does not have to be designed to go through machines because it doesn't go through machines. The way this is set up is it's delivered in trays, counted out, and the postal carrier has like 437 people on his route. He gets a stack of 437 cards, and he just gives one to each person. It doesn't have to go through any addressing or automation. Okay, so you can actually fill up the back, but you got to leave a little bit of room to put the address that it's going to. Now, on the back we have room for testimonials. So my newest card, I just mailed some. I put 3 or 4 testimonials in a box over here, okay? And the way I got some testimonials over the years, but I found out a way to get a hold of people that you know. It's a killer system. The guy I learned it from at the Dan Kennedy event, he got a 50% response on his mailing to his customers, people he knew, sending him testimonials, okay? I went online and did it by email. I got 1,300 subscribers to my newsletter. I said I was going to give away this gift if after I get the first 47 responses, or May 15th, which was like 6 weeks away or something. I had 47 testimonials in 3 hours by doing it by email. Okay, within the first 10 days, I had 87 testimonials.
Okay, so tell us what you did.
I can't. I'm sorry.
If you don't, you're not getting out here alive.
Well, if you give me some extra time, I'll be able to cover it. But
okay, I'll give you 1 minute. Go ahead and tell us.
All right. I'm writing a step-by-step on how to do this. Okay, but here's what you do. It's called Mission Impossible. Anybody get my Mission Impossible email? A couple of you? Okay. What you do is you say, you send this to people just your banker, your title company, just people you've done business with. If you have customers, buyers, sellers, tenants, whatever, send it to them. Attorneys, everybody you've come into contact, so your contact list. You send them out a thing that says Mission Impossible, and it says, your job, if you decide to accept it, is. And then it says, please provide us with a few comments about your experiences with us. We appreciate doing business with you in the past, and we're going to give away this thing. Or we have a free gift for you if you do this. You can name the gift, or you just keep it a mystery. I kept it a mystery. Okay? And then, so when this is done by mail, where you got the 50% response, you just mail that, made with cover letter, and then you put a self-addressed stamped envelope with a live stamp on it. Okay? Better yet, handwritten self-addressed stamped envelope. Okay?
Back to you.
Huh?
Back to you, you mean?
Back to you, so that they fill it out and send it back to you. You understand the psychology of that? That there's a live stamp in this package from someone they know, and they have to either waste the stamp or send you a comment. People will send you a comment just not to waste the stamp because they'll feel guilty.
They will. They will indeed.
So,
especially if you bribe them with a gift, huh?
And you bribe them with a gift, and so I did it by email where I didn't have that same psychology, but it still worked good because of the numbers. Yeah. But you can do it by mail to everybody you know. Now I'm going to lay it out more step by step for you, but that's the general idea.
Okay.
Is that a good idea for you guys? You all can do that. You all can do that.
In any business.
Here's another reason why it works, and this is Tony Rubelski, or I got this idea from. Tony. I got to give him credit. But what happens when it says Mission Impossible and it says your job when you decide to accept it? What happens in your mind? You start hearing the music. You start hearing the Mission Impossible music. That's why it works on email as well as mail.
I can't remember what it sounds like.
All right, what does it sound like? Dun, 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 dun,
oh, that's
dun,
right.
dun,
Yeah,
dun.
now I remember it. Yeah.
All right, some of you are not old enough. So, Ron's definitely old enough.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Step one.
You're seeing Richard for the last time. I hope you get something out of this.
All right. Let's go into the steps. I'll rush through this. You got a handout, but basically the first thing you do is step one. It's 11-step process. So step one, you create a marketing message. All right. As you'll see on this postcard, long copy. You want to talk benefits, problem, solution. If you don't have a long copy sales message, then there's no reason to have an oversized postcard per se. You can, I think all businesses, no matter what type of business you are in, you need to have a long sales letter that explains
They got them. They got them. In the next chapter here, you got all the letters you can possibly stand, and Kathy's got a bunch of them, and you got a long message. You don't have to write anything here, guys. Relax.
Okay.
We wouldn't want you to do that.
So you want a good marketing message, and then if you have a letter or a flyer that's already working, which is what Ron's going to show you, you can use that to create your marketing message. Okay, your marketing message should have a compelling headline, grab attention, generate interest. We talked about sell your house in 9 days or less at no cost to you, or sell your house as is at a fair price on the date of your choice. I have a marketing course where I actually give a license to my marketing stuff, and we go by step in my marketing message why this applies to you. Because some people will read this and say, it doesn't apply to me. It does. For example, fair price. If I'm buying at 60 cents on the dollar, is it a fair price? Any price the seller accepts, because you're not holding a gun to their head, all right? If you can provide value to them, make it easy, and get the cash they need, or do it quickly, all right? If they accept your offer, it's fair. It's fair for them. And if they come back and offer you, say, I can't do that, I got to get this, and it's not fair for you, you don't buy the house. So
thank you
always
for bringing that up, Richard, and we probably should address that right now, because some people somehow adopt this philosophy that because we're out here buying houses, we're taking advantage of people, and nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, the opposite is true. I have never taken advantage of anybody in 23 years of doing this, 21 years of doing this. I can't ever remember buying a single house where they didn't agree to the terms. I never made a single one of them sign anything. There was no guns involved, no clubs, no threats, no bullies. It was simply a matter of making them an offer, and they accept it or they don't accept it. You got to get this thing about you feel like you're taking advantage of people out of your head, or you're going to have to find something else to do. Because when you get in this business for a while, and you start getting these testimonials from people that sold you their house and tell you how much you've relieved them from their the problems that they had and given them debt relief or given them cash when they needed it badly, the fact that you got a good deal on it has no effect on whether it was a good deal in the mind of that seller or not. If they accepted your offer, it was a good deal, or they wouldn't have accepted your offer. You're doing a public service. You're doing something for them that very few people will do. You're getting them out of debt, or you're getting them cash. You're giving them their life back. You're giving them freedom so they can think, so they don't have to get up and worrying about this problem. If they could have solved it, they would have solved it before they called you. I want you to get over this. Well, how come they didn't take care of this themselves? Or how come they didn't list it with a realtor? How come the realtor didn't sell it? Or how come this or how come that? That's not your responsibility to try to think for other people. It's your job to analyze the problem, come up with a solution, give them the solution, let them decide what's best for them, and get over this feeling of guilt. Of course, I imagine a couple, 3 checks from now, you'll get over that pretty quick anyway, but some people have more trouble with that than others.
You'll never know all the underlying reasons of their motivation, so don't try and figure it out.
One of the biggest mistakes is to try to think for them. And you can't do that. You're not them.
On creating compelling headline, here's another headline that you saw on that Post-it note. Something like, we're looking to buy 5 houses in your neighborhood over the next 67 days. We buy houses cash. It still works. It works great, but it works better in the lower priced neighborhoods. In fact, you can take on this card, as you see here, you could leave everything the same and just change the headline, this 2-line headline, how to sell your house as is it a fair price on the date of your choice, to we buy houses cash. And then target junker neighborhoods. But what I suggest on this is I like buying pretty houses, so I go to the bread and butter neighborhoods, the nice family neighborhoods, not the high end. Ron, we're working with Ron right now. We're hitting $500,000 and above. He said he wanted to buy $1 million homes, so we're just going to target those particular neighborhoods, right? $500,000 and above.
You bet. Donna and John are.
Okay, and I've had people go to the lower price neighborhoods with this same card, getting less of a normal response because it's junker. It works better when you're buying pretty houses as a junker. If you're going to do junker, I would change the headline to we buy houses or we buy houses cash, and then leave everything else the same. Make it big and bold. All right.
Can I make a recommendation here?
Sure.
If you're going to do junkers, frankly, you don't need. I'd focus on using these for the nicer houses. Junkers, just do the ant farm.
Yeah.
You don't need to send postcards out to do junkers.
Yeah, ant farm is a much better to find junkers, because I'll tell you what, 9 out of 10 calls that I get on this, no matter where I mail it to, they have prettier houses. So it's that 1 out of 10, it's a junker deal, so I buy it like a junker deal. But I don't focus in on junker deals. If you're going to focus, those are much easier to target, like we were talking about earlier.
And I think you should do junkers.
Yeah, but use the different targeting methods as opposed to this. Your message should take on a personal tone, as if you're talking to them one-on-one. That's why I like using a good sales letter that you maybe have in your kit as a marketing message, and you create it to look like an advertorial. And then avoid broadcasting. So whenever you're doing your marketing message, don't say that we buy. You're talking to someone one-on-one. You're not saying we're contacting all of you to see if you're interested in selling your house. We're going to buy some houses from some people. No, you want to talk you, and you want to be very specific, and as if they were sitting across the table from you.
You guys understand that? Don't ever put in your messages, you people out there.
Yeah.
No.
Isn't it? It's crazy, but people, they just don't know. They do that, and it makes it much less personal. Step number 3. Okay, so we got a compelling headline. Step number 3, design for maximum attention. So we want to create. Everything has to be either looking, and I've just simplified everything. Why beat your head against the wall? Once you find out what works, and you just focus in on what works. I've learned this from many other people. I've learned it from testing, from my own experience. Make it look like an advertorial or editorial. Okay, which, like if you're running a newspaper, make it look like a newspaper ad. If you're running a magazine, make it look like a magazine ad. If you have a TV show on TV, which I don't suggest you do to buy houses, but make it look like a TV show. If you have an ad on the radio, make it sound like a radio show. Make it match the media. So when you're sending letters, like Kathy's going to talk about, make it look personal. Okay. Now, we don't have to make the postcard look personal. Instead, we make it look advertorial. You could actually have a pretty good message and hand write the message on an oversized postcard and do that. That would be killer too. And I'll go ahead and test that, and then I'll share that with my licensees.
Don't get them screwed up.
Oh, okay. No.
They got more than they can handle now.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So make it look advertorial, personal handwritten. Use a drop cap. If you look on the front page, that one S, that's just the guide to I. That makes it look. It's to make it look editorial. Have a pre-headline and a sub-headline. So my pre-headline on the card is, are you or someone you know looking to sell a house? Why did I do that? Just to get extra mileage out of it. Because we're basically shotgun blast a neighborhood. We want to get a little bit extra mileage, and it doesn't cost anything.
Is this the postcard you're sending out for customers?
Exactly.
So it's the same message, just put their phone number on it.
We actually have a postcard mailing service where we customize the card. We put your name, we put your company. Right on this one it says throughout Colorado Springs. We put your area. We customize that part, and then on the back we customize your signature. We put your signature on there, your phone number, your company name, your website, your pre-recorded message line. We basically do all that for you. Now, on a couple things on that. You don't need a pre-recorded message line, and you don't need a website to do this because it's a one-shot. If they go to my website, they're going to see this. If they order a free special report, they're going to get this. When I take this message and I lay it out as a free, I lay it out as a sales letter, I lay it out as a free special report, a website, everything. It's one message, different types of media. So this is one shot. If they're not ready to call me after they get this, I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to send them more information.
Okay, can we address that real quick? You do need a website, but you don't need to put it on this card. Because if you don't have a website, people can't get to you online. In other words, the people online trying to reach you won't find you. You understand? But what he's telling you is very right. Why drive them from here to a website if the website says the exact same thing they just read?
Yeah.
You follow me? Of course, I can make a case for that because on the website is a place for them to put all their information.
True, and we're actually working on that but not everybody's got a website that has a good way to capture information.
Well, they will for the week's
It's
over.
a great system, capturing information on your website. It's also great credibility, okay? What I'm saying is you don't need it because once they read all this junk, you're ready to talk to them, okay? But we do add it. If people have a website and it's not a bunch of junk, we suggest putting it on there. And if they have a good free recorded message line, we'll put it on there, but off to the side. It's not the main focus. The main focus is we ask them to call 3 times. Okay, you don't need logos, photographs, graphics. It's nice to have a signature block and also some handwritten notes. Add testimonials if you have any. It just helps. It's not required because this is working. Actually, I got a worse version of this that I did the first time, which was kicked butt. I just continually improving it. I found a printer to print these bigger and all that. Use yellow cardstock, double-sided black ink. You don't have to do anything else. There's no reason to play around with colors to see what works best. Just use yellow cardstock, black ink.
But the men will have to do that.
All right.
The wheel's round. We can make it rounder, right, guys?
John Barbie sent me this message. I'm not going to read it, but this is from his message. He says, this is what he learned. He says, a clear, benefit-driven message needs to be communicated numerous times to my targeted audience. That is what I definitely wanted to get across to him. He got it. Okay? And it's one of the most important concepts you can get. A benefit-driven message needs to be communicated numerous times to a targeted audience. Any type of marketing that you do. Got this letter. Roop's Advertorial delivers 7 houses in 7 weeks for only $900. This is from Richard Paradise. He said, oh, check this out. 4 weeks straight in their weekly shopper, unbelievable response. Average a house a week, 7 so far. Had the article matted and framed for my office. Thanks for the idea. That was using this message as a newspaper ad. I'll tell you about my postcard mailing service, but if you do that, we'll design the postcard for you, but we'll also lay it out. This is a new thing that we're adding for no extra charges. We're going to lay it out as a flyer. So the same message, once it's laid out as a postcard, it's very easy for my graphic guy to lay it out as a flyer so you have camera-ready artwork that you could use as a advertorial or
is
flyer.
This your advertorial?
That's my advertorial.
Are you guys understanding this? Sure. This is his postcard. Yeah. This is his advertorial. Yeah. And it's all the same. If he were putting out flyers, this would be his flyer.
It's a flyer. You'd put just 8.5 by 11 sheet. And when I run it in the newspaper, it's a large display ad. Advertorial gave me instant credibility. This is from Bill Barnett. He's the author of Dumb Enough. What is it? Dumb Enough to be make rich and... Huh?
Dumb Enough to be rich.
Dumb Enough to be rich at dumbenough.com. He's a good friend. He started using the advertorial. And again, instant credibility using the advertorial. Quickly, here is a letter. This is the first page. So you all read that, right? Okay, and here's the second page. All right, here's the bottom line. They bought 7 houses valued at $2 million in 6 weeks using my advertorial. I mean, they're doing better than I am, so. Huh? Where are they at? Sandra and Roger Dutcher. You know them?
Where do they live? I don't know.
They're in...
What's that area code?
Area code.
Oh, not there.
All I got is their email address. Their email address is rsdutcher@att.
Oh, that's great. That's going to tell me where they're at for sure.
No, they actually said email me. They want emails. But yeah, they just went through over all the details.
My guess is they're probably from a
It works
high-priced
anywhere.
market.
It doesn't matter.
Except where they live.
If you email me, I'll tell you where they live or something. They sent me that by email, actually, when I was sitting in a hotel room speaking at one of the events. Okay, so you've seen the postcard. We actually handed that out. Now, the design on that is, if you take 3 of these cards, it's 11 by 17. That's a standard size, 11 by 17. Have your printer put these 3 up. We put them 3 up. When we're mailing, we put 3 investors up. But that's a standard size, 11 by 5.66. When I first did this, I did a half sheet, 8.5 by 5.5, just 2 up. Okay? But for the same cost, now we can go with the bigger size, have room for testimonials. I found a printer from Dan Kennedy's event, and he's going to do 6.5 by 11. It's like the maximum size. 11.5 by 6.25. So a little bit bigger. We'll do a few more things on there, but it's big enough. Do you think this makes an impression when it arrives in someone's mailbox? All right. It works pretty good, but I'm always tweaking. Postcard versus the letter. Oversized postcard is cheaper to print. It's 4 to 5 cents to print. You don't have to be folded. Okay, bulk. You can actually use a bulk rate permit stamp, which I wouldn't suggest with letters. You need a live stamp on letters.
Well, the biggest advantage is nobody has to open an envelope.
Yeah, so you keep all your costs down. What you want to do, the postage is 15.2 cents. The printing is about 5 cents. Then you have your addressing and your mailing list. Guess how much the mailing list costs to saturate a neighborhood? I told you I paid like 6 cents a name for people with VA, FHA loans. How much does it cost to saturate a neighborhood? Occupant list. Well, nothing was the answer. It's nothing if you get tax records, okay? And I actually had someone screw this up. They mailed it to people from tax records, okay? They mailed it first class. Well, actually, they didn't mail it first class. They did saturation to tax records. Guess what's wrong with tax records? 30% returns. 30% bad. The addresses are bad, 30%. So you have to clean that up. It's a good list, but you have to clean it up. You can't use the saturation method because all those addresses are bad. Plus, your postage is now 19 to 20 cents a piece instead of saturating everybody. If you don't saturate everybody, your postage goes up. So we want to keep our postage down to 15.2. And then we get an occupant list. Costs 1 penny per address. Doesn't even have their name, just address.
Hey, Richard, in the essence of time, just tell us how you're going to do all this for us so we don't have to worry about all this crap.
All right. All right. Step 5, select your farm. Step 6, get your list. Step 7, hire a letter shop. Step 8, select a reliable, low-cost printer. Step 9, schedule your mailings. How often should you mail them out? Every day, right? 5,000 a day? No, I'm just kidding. No, 5,000 every 2 months, 5,000 a month. I have some people mailing 5,000 every 2 weeks. Okay, it's really, are you set up to handle the calls? Are you set? Okay, it's just a matter.
The problem is how many leads can you handle? How many you want to mail?
That's all it comes down to, and how aggressive you are as far as how quickly you want to build your business. I mail. I'm starting to mail about 5,000 every 2 months, just because I have other leads coming in. I get a lot of referrals and stuff like that, and I got other things working. Like my yellow page, I can't stop that, you know. So measure the response. You want to track your response. And again, if you're not getting at least 10 to 15 sellers calling you when you mail out 5,000 cards, it's not. If you're using my card, it's not the card, and it's. It's
not, guys. The problem is probably the list.
The problem is the list.
Or something weird happened, like they're sitting at the post office somewhere. If this message doesn't attract people to call you, they're not calling you. Quit worrying about whether your message is correct.
Yeah. So the only thing I'm testing for people when I'm doing all this for them, is we're testing neighborhoods. We're just looking for the best neighborhoods to get the best types of deals for the price. I've had some people mail in hot markets where they got actually less than 10 calls. I had one guy got 5 calls his first week. Another guy got 6 calls. The guy who got 5 calls, they both bought a house out of those number of calls. It was in a hotter market, so they got less calls, But the people that did call, because it was a hot market, were more motivated and they were better deals.
You only need one good call per 5,000, huh?
One house per 5,000 would be pretty good. And then I have Steve Carruthers. He bought on he's on his mailing in Colorado Springs. His first mailing, he bought 3 houses. He just bought his 3rd house from the first 5,000. I mean, so that's great. But we're happy with 1 or 2. So then, step 11. Once all this is done, you make offers, you buy houses, and you occupy them quickly. And I'll answer questions in the back.
188. And I'm going to tell you there isn't a whole lot you need to know about a website, especially when I tell you that all you got to do is fill out a form and turn it in and you get one. Trying to make this too easy for you guys. Actually, if I make it too easy, you might have nothing left to do. You're not worried about that, though, are you? Okay. Listen, if you just follow me when I tell you that a website is no big deal to set up, it's no big deal to operate, and most people way overcomplicate it. Turn to page 191, and this website may even belong to somebody in this room because we just stole it off the web. Donna was searching and found one that I liked. Now, I don't care about the design of this home page. That ain't what I like here. What I like is this. This website was brain dead simple. There's only 3 things I care about on your website. In fact, I'm going to suggest to you that you have a separate website to buy houses than you do sell houses. And we've got all that done for you. But you can have the same website, but you need 2 different addresses so that when somebody comes to your website to buy a house, that's the only message they have to worry about, is how you can buy their house. I'm sorry, to sell a house. When they come to your website to sell a house, they should come to your iBuy site. And the only thing they need to get on that site is who you are, what you can do for them, and how to give you information to see whether you want to buy their house or not. That's all. Don't cloud it up with a bunch of junk that they don't need to see. Because if you do, you get them off track. You diffuse their interest. You diffuse their attention. So, there's 3 things I want on your website to buy houses. And only 3. Number 1, you got to have a home page telling them what you do for them. And one of those is located on 191. Now, how difficult can it be for that home page? It's on 191 and 192. That's the home page. That's the first page people see when they come to your site. Got it? Got it? Got it. All right. The next thing, when you can get them, is testimonials. Now, if you don't have testimonials now, what do? Wait till you get them. You do not make them up. When you get them, then you just stick them on the site. I heard Richard tell you how to get them, and he's right on. He did a magnificent job up here. I hope you guys appreciate the amount of knowledge that Richard laid on you. And you know, I hate to do what I did to him, cut him off, because he had an hour and a half talk, and I told him we just weren't going to be able to get it all in. I honestly appreciate the effort that he tried to put forth in the amount of time that he had. The information you got from him was worth its weight in gold, and the exact same principle applies to this website. In fact, what should be on your home page? Should it have this information on it? This is all you need on your home page except how to contact you. It's all you need. You don't have to write anything, guys. I mean, these magnificent people have made it just too easy for you. You don't have to write anything. In fact, I wish you wouldn't. But you men will. Now, look at page 193. In their case, that's all the information they're asking for. I don't like that, actually, because that's not enough information. Flip it over to 195. That's the information you need from your seller. The seller fills out that information and just emails it to you. With me? Okay? Now, every day you get out of bed and there are emails with property information sheets completely filled out for you because of this simple website. Prospect comes to your website, but your website will tell that you buy houses. And in fact, yours will have that information on it. And if you're interested in selling your house, fill out the form on the next page and submit it to us. It's that simple, guys. And that's all you want on there. Here's what I can do for you. Fill out this form, and I'll get back to you. Here's some testimonials if you want to see what others have to say. That's all you want on this site. Does everybody understand that? Don't get it any more complicated than that. And you'll get tons and tons of leads. Now, think about it. Offline, you're driving traffic to your site because of your websites and all your other advertising. And I will tell you from experience and from what people tell me, let's say we were running nothing but calls, and I'll bet you Kathy can attest to this, nothing but calls, nothing but ads. In other words, we didn't have a web presence and we got, say, 50 calls. Now all of a sudden we add a website, we add our URL to our offline advertising, 50 calls drop to 30 calls, and instead we get them online. Who's had that experience in this room? Anybody back here? Anybody way back in the back? When you add a website, your calls will drop because someone will choose to come in through the electronic portal. And is that good or bad for you? Oh, that's very, very good. So not only do you have a call, just think about it. Everyone that comes through this portal, you don't even have to answer the telephone. You got all the information right there. Now, just out of pure common sense, what kind of sellers do you think are going to submit that information to you? Well, they're not all, believe me, they're not all motivated, but it would appear to me that just the fact that they're willing to submit that to you means that they're motivated enough to fill that form out and email it to you, even though they're sitting there in the comfort of their home and doing it. I have people who don't do anything but have a website by all the houses they can stand. They just can't they just can't handle it. Just can't handle it. You're going to get a lot of leads from out of the area, yada, 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 yes, so what? That doesn't matter. You deal with the ones that are in your area, and as you guys come to these events and you go out to the Customer Appreciation Celebration in Vegas, you meet people from all over the country, you'll develop relationships. You'll develop relationships where you can email them the leads and vice versa, and that's a beautiful part about being part of the family. So, while we're at it, we have partnered up with iNet. iNet is a website provider. They've already got your website set up for you. However, they will take this information and stick it on your home page for you. All you got to do is email it to them. They'll set up your front page website. They'll do all that for you, and they'll do it for free for however many days it is. I don't even know. In fact, look at page 199. You see the iNet form there? Everybody look at the iNet form. And then it's right down there at the bottom. They'll literally set your site up for you, let you test it for a while before they start charging you the $39.95 a month for your site, and the site will be set up the way that you'd want it set up as a Ron LeGrand student. How many days did they give you? I don't even remember. I don't know. Somewhere on there it tells you. 10 days. Okay. So what you do is this. You send in this form, and then you email them the information you want on the site, or they'll set it up with generic information on it, put your phone numbers in it, and your email address in it. And then if you decide you want to keep it because you like it, you keep it. If you don't, you don't. You risk nothing. All you got to do is fax or email this form in to them. Does everybody understand that? And I will tell you that iNet has set up websites for hundreds, if not thousands, of my students. So they got their act together. Plus, they are the provider of websites for the new Financial Freedom Network that you'll hear about before you leave here, that we're just now launching. In fact, do not send this form in until you hear about Financial Freedom Network, because you're going to get a website to buy and a website to sell with Financial Freedom Network, plus an intranet site with all the other goodies that we're going to be delivering that the customers coming to you won't see. The intranet site is for you, only you see it. But the buy site, sell site, and the sell site are for your customers to come to, whether you're buying or selling. And the buy and the sell site are coming to one site, but they're differently labeled, so you can publish two URLs. Is everybody following what I just said? Okay. But they come to the same site, but your customer will not be able to go from buy to sell and vice versa. And then behind that is another intranet site that was going to have a whole pile of stuff on that I'm not going to get into right now. All of that is going to be free as part of your Financial Freedom Network if you choose to participate in that. So, frankly, the website really is that simple, guys. There really isn't much more to it than that. But do you think it's an important part of your business? It's almost critical nowadays. To be in this business and not have a simple website set up for sellers and buyers to come to don't make any sense whatsoever. But here's what I want to caution you against. I don't want anybody in this room trying to set up and create their own website, figure out what to put on it, and go through all that crap, because here's what happens. Nothing. You get so bogged down in the technical crap, you don't wind up doing anything. And you spend all your time trying to set that website up, and you don't do what you're supposed to be doing, which is getting people with houses for sale to call you. You can't get it any easier than an already set up website for you. If you want to keep it, fine. If you don't, anyway, you think $40 a month is a reasonable price to pay to get leads for free from that point on? I think so. In fact, you're not going to get it any cheaper than that. You're not going to get it done any cheaper than that. So you might as well consign yourself to get it going and let these guys set it up that's already been working with my students now for 2 years. Any questions on websites before we go any further? To tell you the truth, I think he's setting you up a buying and a selling site at the same time. I'm not sure. Do I have copy on the sales site? I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we don't have more copy than you can stand before you get out of here. In fact, it's in your book. But you know, again, sales site's going to be the same thing. Very simple. Here's some houses you can buy, except in that case, you load some information about the houses and you give them a place to fill out their application and submit it to you. Both sides are going to be very simple. And the last thing I want you to do is set up a website with just a whole bunch of buttons for them to push and places for them to go and get them so involved they forget why they even came there. All right. I got enough time for Kathy to tell you how she made $800,000 last year popping a few letters in the mail. You guys want to hear about it? Huh? Before I do that, I just want to show you a couple letters that let me show you a couple things here, Kathy. So get ready. And I'm going to have to cut your time short, as you know. Here's a testimonial. Maybe this young lady's in here. Patty, you'll recognize this letter. Patty, are you in this room? Okay. She came to my short sale seminar. She says, I had to write. I was at the short sale seminar in January, and a light bulb went off when you brought up the young lady who was endorsing a non-negotiable check in her mail outs to sellers. I am a former clerk of district court and have been interested in the pre-foreclosure market, getting discounts and taking over houses since the 80s. I do a mail out each week and would get very sporadic results. There are 30 to 60 foreclosure suits filed in my parish each week. Boy, that's got to be a small parish then. I returned from the seminar and found an old checkbook. It had 10 checks, so I sent out 10 of the checks and the letters and checks, and 26 of the old letters, and I had, So I've been sending of the 10 checks, I got 3 deeds. So I sent out the other 26 with letters and checks, had more printed, and I've gotten 9 additional calls, 2 of which I want the deeds, and we'll get 1 today and 1 Saturday. This is fabulous. I've never had these kind of responses. So here's her letter. You just get ready now. This is a very, very sophisticated letter. And why is it on yellow, do you think? Because that's exactly how she sent it. On yellow paper, handwritten, and it's a handwritten letter. You know what? It doesn't make any difference what that letter said. You got that letter. You got a letter just like that in your book. What the letter says is not near important as the way she's sending it. You guys getting this? All she says, in fact, you've got letters right in your book in the letter section we're getting into right now. And Kathy's got a pile more of them. It's just simply, I buy houses. I'm not a realtor. If you want to sell, call me. Handwritten. And her phone number. But what makes it work, guys? It's personal. It's plain and simple. Notice she did address it directly to the person she's trying to reach. And she gave multiple ways to reach her. But here's the big catch. Here's what she put in the letter. She put a check for $1,000, unsigned, made out to the individual she's writing.